By carrots and radishes, the cool soil intensifying their flavour for use in cold weather food to touch your heart. One of the surprising comfort food dishes in the Asian world is what's known as turnip or radish cake, a popular yum cha dish that's served straight from the hot plate. In the hawker stalls of Singapore and Malaysia, radish cake comes into its own. Known as chai tau kueh or carrot cake, it's a crispy on the outside, soft on the inside our food favourite.
Chai tau kueh, right? Carrot cake.
Ah.
But there's no carrot in this cake. It's quite different from our Western carrot cake. This one is the radish that we use.
Helena Lee was one of 13 growing up in Singapore and loves to create traditional dishes.
Is that good? Good girl. It's more like a comfort food, but you can have it various times of the day, any time of the year, 365 days. But usually it first started, probably a lot of people eating it for breakfast. Just peel the radish. And Maeve, since you're sitting in front of the grater,
yes.
How about you?
Oh, it's very peppery as you go, isn't it? Is that part of the flavour here?
It is a bit peppery, a bit bitter, but that's why it is such a unique little vegetable. So we're going to pop that into the bamboo steamer, pop it into a wok, steam it for about 30 minutes till that gets translucent and it's cooked. Take the lid off now, nice and steamed.
So it really softens up now?
Really soft now.
Yeah.
That's perfect, yes.
Next step?
I'm going to make a rice mixture.
Yeah.
That's 200 grams of rice flour, a quarter teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar to take a bit of that peppery bitterness off, about 300 mils of vegetable stock, and in goes that cool radish. It's still a bit runny, like we tend to describe it as like a runny coleslaw kind of mixture.
Yes.
Yes, runny coleslaw. And then I'm going to pour it into a baking dish, put it back in the steamer, and going to steam it for about 30 minutes till it's cooked. So when you pass a skewer through, it comes out clean and dry, and you know that's cooked. And once it's cooked, leave it for a few hours, 6 to 8 hours, or better still overnight in the fridge for it to firm up so it's easier to handle. Just going to chop it up roughly.
Yeah?
Yeah, just bite-sized chunks, ready to go. Going to heat up a non-stick fry pan, put in about 2 tablespoons of oil, and then in goes the radish at this stage. So I'm going to cook it. The idea is to cook it till it's crispy, brown. Yeah.
They look like croutons, but they're a lot more interesting, aren't they? Because they've got that lovely sort of
lovely
chew to them.
flavor.
Yeah.
Croutons crunchy, crusty. But this one's got the crunchy on the outside, soft on the inside.
Yummy.
So what I'm doing, I'm going to shift it to the corner now that it's looking nice and brown. I'll put the oil, the tablespoon of oil in the middle, garlic, the 2 cloves of garlic in, and the salted preserved radish. It's very crunchy.
So it gives it just another flavour of texture.
It gives it another texture, which is the crunchy bit, and the saltiness. Add in some chili, however much little we want. Add the beaten egg in. So we wait until the egg is almost set. This is a thickened dark caramel sauce, like a molasses. It's sweet, and it gives it that dark, rich flavour.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, about a tablespoon of it. Just squirt it around a little bit. I'm going to give it a bit of a stir around, just to combine the dark sauce into the mixture. Yeah, flipping it over. So to gently brown both sides, actually. Need a bit of white pepper just before plating it.
Smells fantastic.
Yeah, it smells good. Just going to garnish it now with some chopped spring onions, some shredded chilies, fried shallots. Yeah, just some chili on the side.
Beautiful, Helena.
Oh, go for the eggy bit, the crunchy bit.
That is so good. It's not at all like a radish.
No.
I know the radish is the base, but
yes,
it's
a real
just
typical comfort food.
Touches the soul. Kale is one of the world's most vitamin-packed vegetables and has recently gathered kudos as a superfood. But for many cultures, it's been around for centuries. including in Portugal, where most home gardens have at least a couple of tall kale plants growing. In winter it comes into its own, cool frosty nights adding sweetness and crunch.
6 rissoles and table 30, please.
Jose Silva is head chef at Bibo Wine Bar in Sydney's Double Bay, where he's been able to weave in many uniquely Portuguese elements to the largely Iberian menu. Jose moved from Portugal to Australia at the age of 12, a lifelong devotee of the rustic cuisine he grew up with, including the traditional cornbread or broa, the basis of a much-loved dish called migas, using the crumbs and kale.
The idea came from using stale bread. Chop it all up and then you saute it. It's just a good way to use whole bread because nothing goes to waste.
Yeah. So you've got this delicious sort of fried breadcrumbs with beans and
the kale.
So it's like a Portuguese stir fry.
Pretty much. Exactly what it is. What we do with the kale, well, in Portugal, my grandmother's got like a little machine which they roll, and it's got like a blade. I haven't got it, so I have to use a knife. So you just got to chop it as fine as you can. You have a really sharp knife, and just watch your fingers. So we blanch the kale for about 5 to 7 minutes. Salted water. So quite a bit of salt, because green vegetable needs quite a bit of salt. It's quite tough. So if you cook it a little bit longer, it becomes a little bit sweeter than that green, grassy flavour.
So it keeps its shape very well,
yeah, it does. The migas I'm doing today is from the north, and I'm putting a little bit of black-eyed beans. Soak it overnight for 24 hours, no salt. I like to put a bay leaf, a couple of sprigs of thyme, crushed garlic. Don't need to peel it. A little bit of carrot, a little bit of onion. Adds more flavour, it's a bit of sweetness. That's it. This will take between 30 to 40 minutes to cook. Just to finish, I season it. That's it. Medium hot pan. I like to use the Portuguese style olive oil. It's more fruity. Use quite a bit of olive oil. Put all that garlic in. It's about 6 cloves of garlic.
Very healthy.
It's very, very healthy. Put your bread in. Put your tri nuts in now. Now you've got to be very careful. You want it to go golden brown, but obviously not too dark. Now I'll put in your kale. Some of your beans, and I kept some of the liquid on the beans, and that kind of helps soften the crumbs a little bit.
Gee, Jose, your next incarnation could be in the Chinese kitchen.
Yes, like
yeah, the wok technique.
It works really well in the wok.
It would,
I should say that. So just to finish off, a bit of salt, and I like to put a little bit of pepper at the end as well. And to freshen up, a little bit of olive oil.
Wow, that's a grandmother amount of olive oil.
Yes, it is.
I'm very keen to taste this.
Please do.
It's toasty, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the nuts and the bread, and I'm surprised that you still get a bit of a crunch from the green.
Yeah, you do. And
That's
it was cooking
fantastic.
for that long, yeah.
And the oil is magnificent.
Yeah.
Winter is the perfect time for warming, comforting desserts, and every culture has its favourites. In the Turkish world, the cooler months herald an ancient dish called ashura, known as Noah's Ark pudding, said to celebrate their arrival at Mount Ararat using the last of their supplies.
Merhaba. Hoş bulduk.
Urkugani is passionate about her Turkish heritage. Shopping in the largely Turkish suburb of Auburn, she came to Australia as a child and still cooks many classic dishes for her family, including ashura.
We have a special Ashura Day where everyone makes it and we share it with our friends and families.
The basis of ashura are age-old staples, barley, chickpeas and cannellini beans, each soaked and cooked separately. Ulku blending the barley briefly to create a soft, more porridge-like consistency. It's something that you can get in really traditional Turkish cafes, isn't it?
Yes. And when I'm there, I always buy some of this.
Do you? But I bet you
Takeaway.
think your recipe's still the best. Or your mum's recipe.
My mother's recipe, it is. It's really nice.
The chickpeas and cannellini beans are added to the barley.
And then I will throw in cinnamon stick, and I've got about 10 cloves in there. So I'm just putting the orange zest in.
Generous amounts of dried fruit are chopped and added, along with nuts.
Slivered almonds, chopped walnut, and some peanuts as well. And then we'll add the sugar to it. Not too much, just 2 cups.
Just 2 cups.
Just 2 cups.
So in the Turkish descriptor, that's a little bit of sugar.
That's a little bit. We like our sugar.
Yeah.
Now what we'll do is just add the currants right at the end so it doesn't change colour too much.
The sesame seeds go in now?
Yes, and I roasted these earlier. Just give it a little mix, and can you see how it's all thickened
yeah.
up? Look at that, that's just a big pot of goodness, Maeve, and your body's just going to love you for it.
I'm sure.
Look at that. As it cools down, it will thicken up, Maeve. Beautiful pomegranate on top. Beautiful pistachio. Sesame seeds. And why not add a walnut to the side? And then what we'll do is let this cool down, Maeve.
So it's best eaten once it's set. And
Once it's
and
set,
warm.
but that's if you can wait that long. If not, you can
looks
still have it
so-
warm.
Cheers, okay.
Cheers, Maeve.
Wow. It tastes healthy, but it tastes comforting as well.
Yes.
It is remarkable. I've never eaten a chickpea in a dessert like this, or a bean.
Wow, there you go.
And it's delicious.